Welcome back to another JIVij podcast. My name is JERiCK.
I'm Chris Mark.
And today we have a guest, Ashley,
Hi, Ashley.
aka
Hello.
Hey. We gotta plug the artist name, you know.
Seriously,
She's an awesome artist, musician, DJ,
indeed.
and what else? You got a lot of
I do
talents.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a florist, a dog lover. Well, I also do lots of stuff with like marketing, social media stuff, branding,
Nice.
fun
So,
stuff.
just multi-talented artist.
Thank you.
But yeah, welcome to the podcast. I've been wanting to have you on the podcast for a while too.
Yeah, you reached out to me like a while ago, and I was like, heck yeah, I totally want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And I know when we were talking about it months ago, you're like, I'm gonna start a podcast. I'm like, that is so dope, and it's really cool to like be here and like
Yeah.
find that full circle moment with you. So that's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is episode 14, I think, if I'm counting right. Because, yeah, this is going to come out like a couple weeks from now. But,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
14, man. That's
episode
like
14, dude.
like 2 weeks, bro.
I know. I think I want to do something special for like episode 25 or 50, maybe. 50 might be like a cool kind of a milestone, I guess.
I think
Yes.
that'll be good.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're only putting this out like once a week, right?
Yeah.
So
So,
it's like a whole year, bro.
Yeah,
It's like
basically
52
like-
months in, or 52
Weeks.
52 weeks in a year.
yeah, I think, yeah.
I just had like a moment. That's why I was like, oh my god, 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sign.
Why?
for
Is that your number?
right now and the color purple. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Right now and the color purple, 14 and the color purple are like,
Hey.
Yes.
There
We
you
are
go.
like purple.
There you go. I guess, welcome to the Purple Studio.
that's funny. Yep, fun studio.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
Third eye.
But we normally start the podcast with our weekly interests.
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you want to start, Chris Mark? What's your weekly interest? Just so like Ashley can think about her stuff.
Okay, so for me right now, my weekly interests, I finally got my room settled. So I've been trying to mess around with the what is it called, the Logic Pro X,
Oh, nice.
and so I got that set up, and I'm excited to start working on that one. Last night I was just I was up till like 4 in the morning just messing around with it, trying to see how to maneuver around it, and I'm actually really excited to get going on something on that.
Hell yeah.
That is so cool.
So that's pretty much been my my interests as far as lately.
Yeah, because I know you've been wanting to do music, so it's cool that you're actually starting to like
Yeah.
learn the software and the process.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a long process, but I think it'll be worth it
Yeah.
in the end. So
Hey, that's cool.
And Logic is a great DAW.
Yeah, I use Logic.
yeah.
Oh, you do use
Yeah.
Logic. And I know it's great for like there are certain like comping features. I know that Ableton, like the newer versions, has comping features, but Logic has just a little more support when it comes to like vocal production aspects, I think, is what I've heard. Because I'm an Ableton user.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know the difference. I mean, I've been using Logic for a long time, so like I just
Oh no, I'm mixing that up with Pro Tools. Never mind. Ignore
Yeah.
that. I mixed it up with Pro Tools, but Pro Tools is another good one.
yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. They all kind of do the same thing. There's just different buttons and different things.
I ain't gonna lie though, I went from FL Studio to Logic, and from what you're showing me, because you're the one who got me interested into Logic, anyways.
Yeah.
When I got into when I messed with FL Studio my first time, I was like, oh my god, what the hell is this?
FL
like-
Studio looks really complicated. It looks more complicated than it should, I
like
think.
I'm like, dude, I did not.
Definitely a different
do anything.
workflow.
So going into Logic Pro, I feel like this is gonna be a lot easier to deal with. It's like going from, I don't know. No, I hope there's no Android or Apple haters out there, or Android haters. But it's like going from Android to Apple iPhone. It's like you go from really complex software and stuff
Yeah.
to a really simple iPhone.
And I think that's why I
Fine.
like Logic and any Apple things, because it's just simple.
Yeah.
Like I don't need it to be complicated. I just
It shouldn't have to be.
yeah, like I just want to make art and that's it. Like I just
Seriously.
make it simple.
I prefer Ableton, but I also started on FL, and it was a pirated version. of
Yeah.
FL Studio, but not on my computer, so it wasn't me. But I used it.
I mean, whatever works, right?
But Ableton is definitely like for me like better workflow, and it's just visually really great for me to make music. So
Yeah.
I resonate with that.
Well, that's cool.
That is cool. So we're all on the same boat.
Oh, now it's my turn.
Your turn.
It's up to you. I mean, I can go too if you need time.
You go first, and then I'll go after.
Okay. Well, right now, I guess my interest is I've been trying to do, I guess like a solo, not necessarily a podcast, but like a talking head, like video on YouTube where I'm just kind of recording, talking, which is kind of like, I guess like a little extra on the podcast where I just talk about like life and all the lessons I've learned. And it's been I've done 2 videos so far. The first one I was like sitting here for 10 minutes. I was like, I don't know what to say. This is nerve wracking. Like I was just so nervous. And then the second time I did it, I was like, that flowed a little bit better than the last time. So I think the more I do it, the easier it's gonna get. So because I always watch those motivational videos on YouTube where they're just kind of talking. There's no like crazy editing. Is just like some people even do it in their cars too. They're just like sitting there and like talking for 10 minutes, and I'm just like so engaged and like telling about their life story. I'm just like, like I want to do that. So yeah, I've been doing that. I really want to continue doing it. So yeah, that's basically like my focus right now. Overall, like my life right now, I'm like so obsessed with like YouTube. Like I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I've always wanted to. I mean, I've been doing YouTube for like a long time, but I would go on and off. So I would like do it for like a couple months, and then I'm just like, I'm bored. Next, and I've been doing it for like I would say the last like 8 years on and off.
And it was all different things too.
Yeah, because I used to vlog. I've done
nice.
I made like probably like 80 vlogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot. Probably more than that.
That is so dope.
Yeah, because like I don't know if you know. Do you know Casey Neistat?
No, oh no.
He's like he was a vlogger.
I think he still is.
I mean, he still is, but he kind of like stepped off because he used to do daily vlogs.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's hard.
because he lived in New York, and you know, like New York is kind of an interesting place. So if people just watch him every day, and then I would watch his stuff every day. And then I've been watching his older videos too. So he daily vlogged for 3 years straight.
That's insane.
Yeah.
The amount of work that goes into that.
Yeah, like every single day he posts a video, and it's nuts. And that's how he blew up. And like I used to watch him like many years ago, and then after watching him, like, I want to do that. So like I started vlogging. So I did the same thing. Like me and Chris Mark we would go to the gym. I would just like record it. Like I had my little GoPro and just like record myself.
That's so dope.
His process would be very interesting because it's like we would have to walk through the places multiple times because he's got to set up his camera.
Yeah, so I got to put the camera down, and then we got to pretend to walk, and then I got to pick up the camera and then go to the other spot. And like, yeah, it was just,
Yep.
it was fun. I had a good time doing it, and then I was just like, kind of burnt out from vlogging. And then I started doing reaction videos. So I was reacting to a lot of like Filipino singers. My channel kind of blew up a little bit. And now, I mean, I did a podcast a few years ago too, but my mindset then was so different. And that's why I started a new podcast. I didn't want to continue it just because my mind right now is just on a different level. Yeah. And what I used to believe was just like I don't really like believe anymore. So like I was just like I want to start something fresh. So now starting a new podcast, which is this, and now I'm starting a new YouTube journey, and I think this time it's gonna be different. I have a feeling it's different this time.
It's like you're leveling up every time, and you're
Yeah.
because you've gone through the ropes, and you're finding new things that you're interested in.
Yeah,
more than
and it's just like
anything.
it seems like, oh, I'm starting over, but it's not really, because of all the things that I've learned. Like I'm already like so ahead of the game, even though like technically I'm kind of starting over, but it's just like I already know how to edit videos. I already know how YouTube works. So I just kind of, I'm like a little bit more prepared to do this now than what I was before. So
You got the fundamentals.
exactly. So it doesn't feel like I'm like starting over. It's just playing on a different level now.
That's dope.
Yeah. So like,
It's like being reborn, but you have all the knowledge in the world.
yeah, just a phoenix, you know.
Exactly. You're ready to rock.
But yeah, like
Phoenix
I guess
rising.
that's what I'm kind of been obsessing for the last, like, technically for the last few weeks. Just YouTube. I don't know, a lot of YouTube stuff.
That is so dope.
Yeah.
And it's obviously, like, when you were taking videos of yourself at the gym,
Yeah.
and you were like already getting a good handle of how to record yourself, which is good, and like getting comfortable in on your presence, like seeing your presence reflected back to you and working with it.
Yeah. I actually, like, that's one of the biggest things that I've learned too. Like, talking in front of the camera. Because the first time you do it, it's so cringy. I mean, I still kind of feel that right now, but I guess I'm a lot more used to it, and I feel a little bit more comfortable. I mean, podcast is easier because we can just talk, and like I'm just bouncing ideas from you guys. But when you're doing it solo, it's all on you. You're just talking in front of the camera, and it's weird. It's kind of scary too. It's like public speaking. But
I noticed that, like, when people do talking head type of videos that you're talking about, and they have nobody to bounce off of or any type of reflection, it's a little hard. That's why I noticed that their edits are always chopped up.
yeah, because they cut a lot of stuff out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pauses, and some people like to like cut a lot of the ums and the likes, you know, all that stuff, the fillers. But it's funny because the first one I did, I was a little uncomfortable, so like I did a few cuts, but then the second time, like, I only did like a couple cuts.
Oh, nice.
So like, like I've already seen some improvement
Yeah.
from the first one to the second one, and it was only like the next day. So I think the more I do it too, I think it's just easier it's gonna get, because I just eventually I want to get to the point where I'm just record, sit here, and talk, and whatever's in my mind. And like that's kind of the goal for me, because I want it to be easy too, like just simple, and also very relatable.
Yes.
Yeah, because podcast is like an hour long, and sometimes people don't have an hour to like
Listen.
So yeah, I want to do like shorter videos.
I like that idea. I will say I used to work in like a warehouse type of thing, and they actually let us listen like to podcasts or things. They just let us use our headphones.
Oh, okay.
But we could only keep one in. We had to keep one out so we could like actually listen and hear.
I mean, that's fair, I guess. Yeah.
And I enjoyed listening to podcasts because it was like nice to hear people have conversations, but also like I was there for 8 hours, so I was like, I need something long that I can listen to.
Yeah.
But the shorter ones are great, especially if you're doing like videos and adding them on TikTok and things like that, because it's just like a different approaches for different platforms.
Yeah. Because sometimes you only have like 5 minutes to listen, you know?
Yeah.
So like if you go for a drive, like you just need to get somewhere, you know? It's like I like listening to those when I don't feel like listening to music. So I just listen to like, what's a cool like motivation video right now, you know?
Yes.
Kind of feed my mind, I guess a better
Feeding your mind
content.
positivity.
Yeah, with positivity instead of just nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, nonsense is cool too sometimes. It's fun. But yeah, anyways, that's my weekly interest. How about you?
Well, I this week I would say few interests. Big thing for me is like prepping everything to go to school here in the UK in like a couple of weeks. Which
Going to
I'm excited about.
Hogwarts.
I am going to Hogwarts. It looks a lot like Hogwarts. I was
What's
looking
the
at
school
videos.
name?
The University of Edinburgh in Scotland, and their
Scotland.
their national animal is the unicorn.
No way.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yes, and I was like, that is so
Oh, that's cool.
perfect.
That is pretty dope. A unicorn? No way.
Yes. And my family, like my mom, gifted me for my birthday a birthday card, and it was a unicorn. And she was, she said something sweet about like letting my inner colors like burst or whatever in the
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
I was like, that is so sweet. And then I like found out that I got into the University of Edinburgh, and I was like, literally connect, like it's meant to happen.
You've been wanting to go to that place?
So I've been wanting to go to get my master's in sound design or like engineering for a while now. So I applied to some different schools, and the funny thing is that the University of Edinburgh was like a wild card. So I was like, okay, we'll see if I get in. And then I ended up getting into that school, and then everything like started happening for me to go there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm meant to go there. So like I'm like literally trusting where I'm being kind of pushed.
Trusting the
Yeah.
universe. in
Trusting
what
the
it wants.
universe.
Yes.
Where the flow just kind of just
Go with the
Go
flow.
with the flow.
And also I started doing like the final edits for like an EP that I'm working on. And I've literally held on to this music for like a year and a half. So I'm ready to push it out. So I'm doing like the final edits for it. So that when I get there, I can just let myself be free creatively and, I don't know, just have fun with it in a different direction wherever I'm meant to go.
Yeah.
So that's my weekly interest right now.
That's
Nice.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
When are you leaving?
So it's super last minute, but we're buying the tickets this week, and I'm planning on leaving either September 7th, 8th, or 9th.
When does school start?
Mid-September, so I think like September 16th, I want to say.
And you already got your dorms and all that stuff.
Yeah, I just confirmed my accommodation, so I'm gonna have a little studio, and I'm gonna take my cat with me.
Oh, nice.
I know, I'm excited, and well, she's my emotional support animal,
I mean,
so I was like,
yeah.
I have to take her with me.
I would want to take my animals too wherever I go. Shoot.
Yeah.
She's so cute. She's fluffy and sassy, but like mostly very sweet.
It's like a companion.
She's my favorite companion.
Yeah.
So that's my weekly interest.
Nice. Well, good luck.
Thank
Hope you
you.
have a good time.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
I'm excited for you. Shit.
Yeah, that sounds actually really cool. Like I wish that's one thing that I wish I did in college is like study abroad. Like I had a few chances to like, but I never took it just because it was just like, during that time I wasn't really into like traveling and all that. But yeah,
Same.
I was like, you're never too late.
yeah. I do want to travel though. Eventually.
Where have you thought about traveling to?
Mostly like Asian countries, just because I love tropical islands.
Yes.
So like I want to go to like Indonesia, Thailand, all those. Like I want to go to there first, and then I'll go to like Europe and.
And you just came back from Japan,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
How was that?
It was a lot of fun. I love Japan. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite cities, Tokyo. It was. Yeah, I mean I was only there for 9 days. And we just did a lot of things, so I wasn't really like fully immersed. But when I go back, I definitely want to, do more things.
JERiCK was Tokyo drifting.
So a lot of people hated on that movie, but it was one of my favorites.
Dude, that
I
movie
fucking
is
love that movie. I really like that movie.
I thought it was one of the. Actually, I thought it was the best. Period.
Yeah, I
Because
think
it was just different from all the rest. And
yeah, it's
actually-
definitely one of my favorite Fast and the Furious movies too.
And it was mainly about racing too. And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, it's like the other two. There was like there was a bit of drama. It's about racing too, but after the third one, I think it started like going into crazy stuff, like going
Yeah.
into space and stuff. I'm like, what the hell?
Wait, really?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but
yeah, like
majority of the
the
Fast.
more
Furious-
because there's like 10
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious movies.
No.
So the more it goes and more, like it just gets like the stakes just get higher and higher.
Let's just say it gets more furious as you go.
Yeah.
There's no fast, just furious.
Well, after Paul Walker died, I didn't feel I didn't sit right to keep watching them.
I was
That-
really sad when he died too.
Me
Just, like, I
too.
really like Paul Walker.
I did too. I was in disbelief when I heard that the first time I was working. I was like, no way, this can't be real. And then I was like, I went home and then I was like, this is real. I was like, dude, he's really gone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, he's actually one of my favorite actors. It's like, damn. So that hit me. But anyways, continue on.
Rest in peace, Paul Walker.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's funny. I had a huge crush on Paul Walker.
I mean, everybody did. I did.
I
too.
mean, I don't blame you. He's a good-looking guy.
And also in Tokyo Drift, I was like, the girl, she's so pretty and also just super cool. And I was like, I
yeah.
wanted to be just like her. I was like, she's so cool.
Oh, you talk
I
about
forgot her name. What's
I
her
don't know
name?
her name either, but she was like so pretty.
The half Asian chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she is a cutie.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that movie just all around good. So.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. Honestly, it was really good.
I mean, people are gonna hate on whatever, but you know what? It's what you like, you know. I like that movie a lot.
Me too.
That's
Yeah.
like my favorite Tokyo or Fast and the Furious movie there is.
I kind of like to learn how to drift one day.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Say that.
I mean, I've never done it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm sure it's fun.
I'm like a good driver, I would say. I'm like defensive, offensive.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good driver too.
So, and I drive fast.
I don't know if I'm a good driver. I mean, I got into a few accidents, but,
Oh no.
but you know what? It's alright. You learn. You learn. I'm just kidding. I've only been into like what, one major accident. And that was it. So, actually two, but there was nobody on the road for the other one, so it's good.
I'm glad that you're alive.
Yeah, too, surprisingly. The universe took care of me. I could tell you that.
Okay, sometimes it's a surprise to like, oh, I survived that.
Mhm.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah. It was definitely like Fast and the Furious. Crazy. But anyways, onwards. So
Onwards.
Onwards to the topic.
I mean,
If you
yeah,
want to.
Sure, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, anything else that you want to add for your interest?
Oh.
I mean, I guess you don't have to.
actually, I had a question for you. How,
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, going back to your school, how long is this degree gonna take you?
Just a year.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's actually really
I
short.
know. Well, I've looked into a ton of programs for like master's programs in music. Most of them are only about a year, which is crazy because I'm like, I can just get my master's in a year.
That is cool. I mean,
Yeah.
because I've been looking at stuff like that too lately. I'm like, because I've been also getting feeds on my Facebook. It's like, oh, do you want to get a degree in sound? What is it called? Sound technician? or
Sound
something?
design.
Sound design and all that. And I was like,
Mm.
huh, maybe that would help me in the future. But I was like, I don't know. We'll find out. But if it's only a year, shoot, maybe I just might.
I mean, a year's not bad.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. And you get to learn all the stuff for like, you know, like sound technician stuff. I think that's pretty dope.
Yes.
Not a lot of people could do it. That'll be cool for somebody to do.
Yes, and I know there's that argument a lot of people make is like you don't need to go to school to make music or anything, which I totally agree. I personally thrive in academia, so I was like, this is just a great way for me to like level up in my skill set and in a way that I am naturally like competent in. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna go do that.
I thought that was a good thing, especially because I know that you're a DJ.
Mhm.
I think that would help you a lot too in making music because
Yes.
you'd be ahead of a lot of people. Just knowing just a little bit of, you know, tips and tricks from that school, I think it was gonna help improve it a lot.
I think so.
So I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. I'm excited. And also, for me, it's a way that I can respect myself. It's like by investing in myself, and
Yeah.
that's like literally a great step in doing that.
I think so too. That's a good investment, honestly.
Mhm.
So
Thank you.
Well, yeah. Good luck out there. I know you're gonna kill it.
Like,
you will.
Hopefully, you do like DJing out there too.
I know. I already reached out. So there's like a Facebook group, and I reached out to a couple people in there, like just made a post, and I was like, "Is there a way for like students to DJ for funsies there?"
Yeah.
So I haven't heard anything back, but hopefully, But I know I do a lot of events in town, so I know I'll naturally be inclined to try to do events on campus.
Yeah,
That'll
that'd
be so
fun.
dope.
So we will see.
Well, hopefully you find something out there with for that. I mean, because I think the more you collaborate with other people, the more you'll be able to share ideas and thoughts of like
Yes.
how to make music and stuff. And I think that's pretty important. Just like bouncing off of ideas in here.
Yes. It's like, well, I think that's why I want to release my EP by the time I'm there, is because I want to give myself the freedom to just let go of like who Era Low has been up until now.
Yeah,
And let her evolve however she's meant to while I'm there.
I like that. I need to evolve too.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. So I think we're all evolving somehow, but it's just hard to let go of some sort of past that you had.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a good segue for today's topic, which is the creative process and the creative flow. And because I know you wanted to talk about like pivots too that happens during the time. Is there anything that you wanted to like dive into when it comes to that? Because I know you're going through that right now.
Yes. Well, I know, I guess I'm learning that a big part of my creative process is learning to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, like the discomfort of it all, just like life and creativity. I don't know. Now my brain wants to bring this up, so I'm going to bring it up. But a really good friend of mine asked me if I'd be okay if they mixed my track, and then I can just watch them, because I let them know, I really want to release this by the time I get there.
Like remix it or mix
like,
it?
help me mix it.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, no, like I want to do it myself. I want to prove it to myself I can do it, because I can. And I have done it before, but they want to like. Because they're really well known for what they do.
Okay.
And I've heard their mix downs literally impeccable, like technique. So I'm like, part of me, like my pride was coming up a little bit, because I'm like, no, like I want to do it myself. But then a part of me is like, okay, but I can learn from someone who's actually really skilled at this, and be comfortable in the discomfort and learn something. So that is what I'm learning is a part of my creative process, and I think the next step is learning to like love that, because I'm kind of a control freak.
Yeah.
And a perfectionist, and not a control freak. I'm just like, I'm just
want
like,
things done your way.
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
But sometimes someone else's way may be better, and I know that. So that's where I'm at with that.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm kind of the same way. I like to do things my own way, especially when it comes to my art and my everything else. Like I don't really give a fuck. But when it comes to the things that I'm like really passionate about, like my music, my YouTube videos, like I want it done my way. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword the way I look at it. Is because it's good that I'm so I guess like the way my process is, like I'm just so like invested in it that I'm just like, this is how it has to be, or this is how I want it to be, and like I decide what's what the art is. Because if you give that control to the other people, it's kind of like they get to put in their input of what the art is, which is fine. I mean, like if it's a collaboration, then that's fine. But it's like when it comes to just like my thing, like I don't know, like it's hard for me to just like let that go.
Yep, I hear you.
Especially because I'm so particular. Because I mix my own music. I master my own music, so like I'm very particular of like how I wanted it to sound. I mean, I'm sure I can learn from other people too.
Yes.
And I do. Like I watch a lot of like YouTube videos. I do my own research. But when it comes to like the final decision and like how this is gonna be, like it's hard for me to just like let that go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but
I think it's good to be stubborn, and like, cause you know your work, and you know, obviously, it's you listen a lot to your intuition and where your inner guidance is guiding you for your project.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at too. But then I noticed for me, it's a little bit of pride came up because I was like, I can do this by myself. I don't need anybody. And the reality is I can do this by myself, but do I have to? And I was like, and also specifically with this person, they're so skilled. I genuinely admire their work.
Yeah.
So I was like, it may be good to just like listen to their pointers and watch them, like, so I can learn as well some techniques that they do. But I totally resonate with that because someone else can put their twist on it. And I've had an engineer master my track in the past, and it turned out just slightly different than how I originally mixed it.
Yeah.
But now listening to it and giving my ears some time to develop in understanding what I'm listening to, I see that why they took certain steps and how they mastered it. And I still like the tracks now because obviously I produced them.
Yeah.
And I did mix them. But also just allowing this person to allowing this friend of mine to like mix for me might be a great thing, so that whenever I'm mixing in the future, I think of a few things that like they teach me while they're doing it. So I'm taking it from a learner perspective right now.
I mean, that's good. Like it's kind of like, you know, you're going into like your own like little master class, I guess. You're learning from somebody that's, you know, has a little bit more experience than you. But I mean, I feel like, you know, there's really no wrong way to do it. I mean, as long as at the end of the day, the final product, like, do you like it or do you don't? Like, I feel like those are the only two answers that. Those are the only two questions that you need to answer. It's like, do you like this or do you not? Yeah.
I definitely worked with so I'm big on collaboration, and I'm big on like accepting other people's like creative ideas and directions.
Yeah.
And there have been tracks that I've worked with others, and it's not necessarily like my taste in music or my taste in sound design or just, I would, obviously everyone produces music their own way. But I enjoy doing those projects because it opens me up to not just seeing different people's workflows, but also accepting the different creations that are possible when you collaborate with people.
Yeah, because like for me, when I've been doing music, I mean, I've collabed with a lot of people. And for most of my music stuff, like I'm usually taking the lead, the creative lead, because I make the beat, and then, you know, like people are just kind of, I guess, in a sense, like featured in the music. So it's, at the end of the day, it's my like control on like how the final product is gonna sound. And obviously, like I'm
the direction.
Yeah, I'm open to like any inputs, like when it comes to like the lyrics, the melodies, and whatever ideas that people come up with. But when it comes to like sonically, like the way it sounds, I'm usually the one that's like that decides like this is how it's gonna sound.
Oh.
But then when I think about it, like if somebody asked me to just be a feature in their music, if they just want me to just like, oh, sing on the hook, I would just like take the back seat. I'd be like, all right, let me sing the hook, and like that's it. I'm like, I'm done. Like I don't care how that sounds. I mean, obviously I want it to sound good.
Yes.
But then it's just like whatever they decide how that song sounds.
Yes.
Like I'm open to that.
Yes.
So like when it comes to like collaborative, I'm very open. But it just depends on, am I leading or am I taking the back seat?
That's a great point.
Because I can do both. But if I'm leading, like then I'm leading. Like there's no, yeah. It's just like that's just how I guess work when it comes to like my art.
That makes sense. I mean, because you're the one who's like pretty much painting the picture.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense that you control it versus somebody else.
Because like I'm the one that releasing it to the masses.
Yeah.
So like I want it to be like my control and my idea. But then if I'm just featured in somebody's song, then
Yes.
I'm totally cool with like, you can mix it whatever you want. You
Mm-hmm.
can master it however you want. Like, I'm cool with that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of beauty in that too, especially if you dive into different mediums and genres in music, because you get to create something that maybe obviously no one else has heard. Even if people aren't used to it, at some point people are going to like really dive into that music. And I like how you mentioned like painting.
Yeah.
Because I started thinking about like the palettes of colors and like the different colors I usually gravitate to versus what someone else gravitates to.
Yeah.
And then for me, like when I collaborate with people, it's usually vocals and like lyrics. So like I'm telling the story, but I'm using their colors.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I
help
like
bring it
that
out.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way of putting that, for sure.
Yeah.
Huh?
Just like for me, especially with music too, I mostly focus on the instrumental and the melodies.
Mm-hmm.
So when I collaborate with people, like, I'm so open to like the lyrics that they give me
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just like, oh, I'm cool with that. Like, I don't, lyrics is usually at the, it's not that it's not important to me, but it's just at the bottom of the
Mm-hmm.
importance level. It's
Yeah.
for me, it's instrumental. I mean, melody, instrumental, and then lyrics.
The lyrics.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That's
yeah,
just
if
how I
you're-
look at it.
If you're looking at it from like the lead, you're the lead.
The hierarchy.
Yes. And obviously for that person the hierarchy is different. They're like the lyrics and the vocals and then how they sing the vocals.
Yeah.
And then how they're mixed and all that stuff. They have their own like hierarchy for that. I would actually really be interested, and hopefully I have a feeling this is coming up soon, but I'd love to collaborate with someone on just like the production aspect so that I know what it's like to partner on a project like specifically with the production of the track.
What do you mean? Just like somebody just giving you an instrumental?
No, so they give me like if they have a melody and they're like, hey, let's build off of this, then I'll take the melody and then find a way to maybe build a bass line with it, but like work with them or section it off. Like I get the pre-chorus and the pre-drop. That's the same thing.
So it's kind of like,
I get
sorry, go ahead.
sorry, you go first.
I was gonna say, so it's kind of like playing tag in a sense where you give them like what your idea is on that track, and then here, check out what do you think about this, and see if you want to add anything to it that you think that'd be good.
Yes.
Is it kind of like that?
Yes. Or like we section it, or we do that, and then like the first drop I do and the second drop they do, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Because I usually when I collaborate it's just like vocals and lyrics. But I want to also showcase some of my skills production wise.
Okay.
But it's harder because the music, I love the music I make, but I'm also surrounded by a lot of people that make more of the like hard hitting,
Yeah.
like heavy bass, or like
808s.
or the tech house. and not that I can't do those. I'd love to.
Mm-hmm.
And I love pushing myself, but I do more of like the mellow, like down tempo, and like mellow future bass styles.
Yeah. That's why, like, for me, like, my catalog is, like, all over the place.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when I started making, like, R&B pop music.
Oh.
Yeah. Because, like, I like to sing.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I learned more about the EDM scene, the bass music, I'm just like, oh, this is really interesting. Like, I like this type of music.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, so, like, my music kind of gravitated towards that. And then, like, now, like, I have like a lot of like songs that are unfinished that are more like R&B. So like so I'm just kind of going back and forth. I'm like, oh, make EDM music, R&B, EDM, R&B. So like, I don't know.
That is so cool though.
Yeah.
Especially if you can. Well, I love your music, and I was like, and if you find a way to like mix the two genres together.
Yeah.
I know people love new things, and in EDM, like if you can add more grooves to it, like those are like the tracks that really hit hard for people.
That's true.
Where you can like groove with it and dance, and also learn some like hear just like ear candy and like
Yeah.
Just vibing.
vibe.
I mean that. Yeah. I feel like that's how I look at music. Like if I feel it, regardless of what it is, if it's like a slow, sad song or a very like hype. Like I just want to, like get hype. Like obviously it's the spectrum of like different sounds. As long as I feel something, that means like I'm enjoying the music. If I don't, then I'm just like, nah. It's, yeah.
That makes me so rhythm. I'm gonna bring up rhythm right now.
Yeah.
Because I know so many people who make rhythm, and I love rhythm, but for me, I can't listen to rhythm for like hours and be okay. Like it hurts my head slightly.
Yeah.
But if I go to a show and I hear like it's like a rhythm show, I can go for like an hour and just like headbang, feel the vibe, crump it out, and like just like enjoy it.
Yeah. And that's how I feel with I like house music. But I don't know if I can do like 5-6 hours of just house music. Like I need
5-6 hours.
when I listen to people's set, like obviously like I'm not the typical audience. For a normal regular audience, like they don't give a fuck. Like they just want to hear, they just want to have a good time, and that's totally cool. For me, like when I listen to people's set, it's like, is it a journey? Like, are you bringing me up and down and up and down? Because like if it's all the way up all the time, I'm already exhausted halfway through.
That's valid. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the thing with like house music. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just like not super into house music, but I do love house music. But it's just, it feels very
same
level for 1 hour.
That I feel like that relates a lot to like the BPM. Like especially if you're going to see, like if you go to see a specific DJ and they keep it at the same BPM the entire time, which I have done.
Yeah.
I've noticed it's best to also like move with it and like slow it down and speed it up and slow it down and speed up. Give people that time to go with you on that like movement. Yeah,
because the thing with house is like it's just 125, 130 the entire time.
Which is, well, it's crazy. I thought it was like 123 to 128, but I've seen some house tracks up to like 132.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's wild. I was like, it's just kind of evolving.
Yeah. But it's still kind of in the same like few BPMs is not that big of a difference. But like that steady, like 4 on the floor. I don't know. I enjoy it, but for 6 hours, like sometimes I'm just like exhausted after a while. That's why I like it more like the bass scene, because like people tend to, there's a little bit more of
the dips.
Yeah, the dips, and because at least like that's how I plan my sets too. Because I like to plan everything. It's rarely like I do freestyle unless I do like a back to back, which is all freestyle. But I always like plan like how do I want to start this, and what's the middle of this set, because I like to like go up and then like I want to bring it down. Like if I'm playing like a really like a high energy song, I like to drop it down like all of a sudden to like a more like chill. Like I just love the changes. Like for me it's fun because like I don't get bored for like 1 hour, you know what I mean?
I like it when someone's music gives me that like the pinched like face.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's when you know it's
Oh,
good. Like when my face is like
yeah, when you just smell the fattest shit. Like that face. Yeah.
I'm like, that's a good producer or that's a great DJ.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Make my face like freak out a little bit.
I always look for that like in the crowd when I'm like DJing. Like if I see somebody doing that, I'm just like, yeah.
I did my job.
Yeah.
Dude, I've watched both your shows. And I normally people watch and I look around and then I notice a lot of people's their reaction to your guys' styles is definitely like different. It's like a lot of people they react to different things. So
yeah, because people like different types of music, so it's
Oh, I went to a D&B show at Dead Ringer recently, and I had so much fun because like I love D&B, but I haven't actually been to a D&B show yet, and I had so much fun. And I love just culturally each genre has its own thing, And DNB specifically has its own, obviously, like dance steps when I think about that.
Yeah.
And I was just having fun, like messing around, but I saw someone do it, and then I saw videos of people dancing to like DNB, and I was like, oh, so it's like a genre cultural thing.
Yeah.
And I love that because each genre has its own unique way to connect everybody.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
I noticed that too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every genre in the EDM scene, like the subgenres, have their own like crowd.
Yes.
Like there's a bass crowd, and then there's also like hard style, DNB. There's like so many different. Like I mean, I usually prefer like the more melodic bass. It's just kind of more like chill. But I mean, I enjoy like little things from different genres. That's why my set is usually pretty like mixed with like different genres. Like I like to mix it a lot.
Those for me, those have been the best sets because I can like vibe with all of it.
Yeah.
And also, if I'm like being introduced to new, obviously that's the job of the DJ, is to introduce you to new music as well. So if I'm introduced to new music, then I'll like be like my interest will be piqued, and then I'll go and research some of that music later on.
Yeah, because that's what I want to get from like when I watch people. I'm like, I just want to have that feeling like, what the fuck is this?
Yes.
I had that feeling when my friend Ray, you know Ray, Currency, he performed at Mass. This was like maybe like 3 years ago.
Oh, that's lovely.
And then I was on shrooms, so it was definitely on a different trip.
Wait, I think maybe you told me about this.
Yeah, I think I probably have. But because before that, like I didn't really enjoy like bass music. I was just like, this is just all noise. Like I don't like this.
Is that's what piqued your interest into learning how to produce bass music? Yep.
Yeah. And then that night, I don't know what he was playing, but that shit like blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like I was just maybe, I mean, I'm sure it was like the shrooms too. It was just like all like mix of just like I was just feeling it.
Yes.
And then I was just like so immersed in it because like growing up, I was listening to a lot of like R&B, pop, hip hop, so like very mainstream stuff. And like that night, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what is this sound? Like, it was so unique to me that I've never like. It was funny because like my friend tried to get me into it before, and I just couldn't get into it. I was just like, nah, not my thing. But I think it was the shrooms that really like rewired my brain. I was just like, what the fuck is this music?
It was
It really
the
does.
gateway.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like that night, I was just like, this is it. Like I need to make music like this. Like, and then after that, like started making like, you know, bass music, and I started DJing, and that was just kind of
How it all
where I'm at.
started.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I got my undergrad in segue. I got my undergrad in psychology, and I studied substance abuse treatment and prevention. And with that, I got to learn a lot about drugs and different kinds. But mushrooms and psychedelics definitely are, I think, making their way towards being like legalized for medical purposes, like for mental health. And I know I've spoken with mental health professionals here in Reno who have said that they're pushing for that, like for microdosing. Because obviously there's a lot of research showing that that psychedelics do rewire your brain and can help you pivot your mental state to a more positive one.
Shoot, hook it up.
Yeah, honestly, I'm such a big believer in that because that is exactly what happened to me. When I did my mushroom trip for the first time, and it just like changed my brain, changed my life. And like
Your perception.
my perception of everything. It was just kind of honestly, like not even like exaggerating. It was like life changing for me. So like I'm a strong believer in that. Like obviously, like some people have different effects on psilocybin mushrooms, but for me, it works for me. So
I've never done mushrooms, but I've done psychedelics before.
yeah,
And it also definitely rewired my brain.
like LSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only a couple times. But it's always been around with like music, and that's why I think I'm big on sound and visuals.
Yeah.
And it just like those things kind of help me get to a different level that's more positive for me. So I'm like really big on that.
Yeah. Because I mean, like for me too, when I go to shows, like sometimes I'm on shrooms, and it just sounds so much better. Like
Yeah.
it's just the sound is just such more like, I guess, clearer in a way. Like the way I describe it, it seems clearer.
Like HD.
Yeah, if I could describe it, like it would be like HD sound, like high definition sound.
I feel like it's because you become more in tune with your body.
Yeah, like you feel everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially like with the sub too, it's just like it's crazy.
Yeah, I've never done any of this stuff, but you guys make me want to try this.
I've been telling you to do it, but I know you're scared. But I'm not gonna force you. So
one of these days, one of these days, you know, I'm gonna just try it, just to give it a shot, see what happens.
It's gonna change you, dude, for sure. Like I already know it, but I'm not gonna. When you let me know, then you let me know. But yeah,
I'll be like, oh, JERiCK.
No, it's legal in Colorado, right?
What, mushrooms?
Yes, they have like, I'm pretty sure they are in Denver. They have like dispensaries specifically for mushrooms to like microdose.
Yeah.
But there have been like artists that have done it and have made music or created art, and there are some really interesting books about people watching their creative process shift off of it and on it.
Yeah.
I used to, random thought really quick, but I used to smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
So I used to smoke a lot of weed, and that's how I recorded my vocals, or that's how I dove in creating my melodies. But now I honestly don't smoke at all. Rarely, maybe once every 2 months, 3 months.
So in the case, or in that sense, that was your gateway drug to like for music.
Yep, weed. And then I'm actually a really sensitive person naturally, so I took a step back from it because I recognized that I'm already like really in tune with my body, and becoming more in tune with my body, and so that in itself has also opened up my creativity. Not smoking weed.
Yeah, for me, like personally, I like to be sober when I'm making art. Like when I make my music, like I try to do it with shrooms. I'm just like, I don't feel it. Like I just like when I'm on shrooms, like I'm more of a consumer than a producer, which is interesting. It's because I
think that's a unique thing though, being able to understand what that is.
Yeah.
For you.
Because like I would rather like listen to music than make music when I'm on that. But then when I do play sometimes in public, like I microdose a little bit, so it's like that's fine. But it's like for the most part, like I never really done like making music when I'm on shrooms or like on weed either. Just because like I don't like the feeling.
I think for me, the reason why I did it is because like I said, I'm a perfectionist. So a lot of my process up until now has been learning how to let go of control, which might be a good segue here because
that probably is the control thing.
And I like right now, life is incredibly hazy. Like I'm walking through. I feel like I'm spiritually walking through a haze, and I can't necessarily see super far ahead of me, but I can see my steps, and as long as I'm taking a step forward and trusting that I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna be okay, more than okay. But at that time it was a way for me to like let go of the control that I had and just be within my body, like be present. And that's why I think a lot of people do use it medicinally, because it helps them kind of get out of their head and into their body.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
And I did use it for a while in that sense, but then I realized that I was like super sensitive, just to like, I can't even explain it, but that's why I took a step back from it. And then I noticed that helped me pivot into learning how to let go of control naturally. which I'm still learning because obviously I'm in a haze right now. And I remember I felt like my eyes were closed recently, and I was like, I can't see anything. The ground is shaking. But then I joked with someone. I told them that, and I was like, actually, I'm just dancing. So once I realized I'm just dancing, and I can just see the haze now, and I just have to make sure I keep walking one step forward. So I'm learning to be comfortable not having control right now.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing because when you're in control and you've been controlled most of your whole life, it's just hard to let others.
Or you think you're in control,
Yeah.
but not really.
But I think it's just hard to just try to be open and be free to let other people guide you.
Yeah.
That's where my pride has been coming in recently.
I think it's just the control thing is hard because it makes you feel unsafe when you're not in control. Because that's how I'm feeling right now too. I have no idea where all this is gonna go. I have an idea in my mind. I have like a goal, like, oh, I want to hit the numbers or whatever it is, like my personal goal when it comes to like the podcast, YouTube, my music. But do I really know how it's gonna work? No. Like, because like I just don't know. Like one day tomorrow, like one of my shit might blow up, and like that's just gonna change everything.
Yes.
Or maybe not. So like that's the scary part, is because you want to control that, right? Like, oh, I want to make it by next year.
Yep.
I want to have this, like you have your goal of like, I want to hit this milestone every time. But then like a lot of the things, yes, obviously like hard work kind of, will get you there. But then it's like for the other things, like there's no control over that. Like there's no control of, you only have control of you finishing the song and releasing it. After that, it's like, do you really have control if people will listen to it, or if it will blow up? It's like, you know what I mean?
Point. That's a good point.
Like even if it's like, yeah, you like market it the way, like to optimize it, right? Like just send it as many people as you can, but then there's really no way of knowing if it's gonna work or not.
It's based on the reaction of what other people believe, what they think of your art.
Yeah.
So it's a perception. It's kind of like let's say, for example, I'm gonna use Da Vinci for example. It's like, I'm pretty sure his art right now is amazing and stuff, but I'm pretty sure back then they were like, oh, it's okay. But as time went on and different people see the type of art that you're creating, the more your art will become more well respected in a sense.
Yeah.
So it's just time and patience, I think, in my opinion, and the certain crowd type of people that you're trying to attract in a sense.
Yeah.
Who was the artist that like cut off his ear?
That's Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Vincent Van Gogh.
I know
He
his.
cut us here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the guy that made the what is it called?
Yes. This.
The-
no. Really?
Yeah.
Was he?
He was the guy that created that painting.
The screaming man.
Yeah.
Was he? Because I thought so too, but then I thought it was someone else.
No, I'm pretty sure that's
It was
Vincent
him?
Van Gogh. Yeah.
Okay, well, he so the reason why I bring him up, because you mentioned that his brother believed in his work so deeply that he gave him an allowance to take care of it. Like he gave him an allowance to help him, and Van Gogh I think he felt so guilty about it for so long, because like his mom wasn't really supportive of him, and I think she threw away or sold a lot of his paintings. But little did she know, like once he passed, like he just like blew up.
Yeah. That's like how your guys' art or my art will be. It's like
Yes.
just depending on the type of crowd that is attracted to our stuff.
Yes.
It's also kind of like, I don't know, Stephen King.
Stephen King.
If you've never heard of his story, he actually made a book. He'd been writing for so long and got rejected so many times, but his last book that he made, or he was writing, I don't know if it was a book, but I'm pretty sure it's a book, but he threw it away, and his wife actually picked it up and read it behind his back, not knowing what it was about. And then when she read it, she was like, dude, this thing is freaking amazing, publish this thing. and then it was because of her he blew up because she exposed that, and then people started noticing him and his work. So I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, because it's like you never know. Like as much as you think that like, oh, this is it. Like you don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, that gave me chills. I just have to say that because I resonate.
Yeah, that's why I'm such a big believer of just releasing your shit out there. It's because like if you don't, like, it's just gonna sit in your
vault, dude.
freaking vault. Like for what?
It's gonna collect dust.
Like I don't know. Like
I've been doing that, so I'm ready.
what it's the interesting part for me is like, why are people so scared? Like I don't. Maybe because like I'm not that scared of like other people's opinions. And so for me, it was just like it just doesn't make sense that people would actually like not release whatever it is, whatever type of art or even like businesses ideas too. Like I don't understand why people just not like go for it.
You know, it's crazy that you bring this up because you know, I don't know if it was the Resurrection CD, but Tupac, when he actually had a bunch of stuff that was already pre-recorded in his mom's like basement, I think.
Yeah.
And then that thing collected dust for many years until Eminem one day went to go talk to her and discovered that he had a bunch of music that he's already like just lyrics.
Yeah.
That he's already put together. And then what Eminem did, he took that the lyrics and just put it onto a beat, and then freaking made that CD made a lot of money. And I think it's the Resurrection album, but it's just like you hide this stuff, and if you don't use it, it may be gold to somebody else. You know what I mean? And it may attract a lot of different crowds. So I say, you know, just put your stuff out there to the universe and let the universe take control. Yeah.
Yeah, because the fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because like I did a video yesterday of just me talking solo in front of the camera, and my topic was like your story matters to a lot of people, even though you don't think so. Because I even started it off too as like I feel like I'm imposter syndrome. You know that feeling where you just like don't feel like
You've done enough.
Like nobody cares. Like, you know, like for me, it was just like, why would somebody listen to me and talking about like, oh, you're gonna make it, you're gonna be fine, when I'm out here struggling. And I even told that on the video too. I'm like, yes, I'm doing the thing. I'm following my dreams, but then I'm also like, fuck, I'm struggling right now too. So I'm like, but then the way I think about it is like, yes, you look up to the people that have already made it, right? So there's the people that you look up to that was just like, oh man, I want to be that someday. But when you look at them, it's so out of touch already.
Yeah, a little superficial for sure.
Yeah, because they're just like, oh, it's hard for me to relate because they already made it. Like they already made their money or whatever. They're already at the top of their game. So it's like very unrelatable. So me talking in front of the camera, I'm like, hey, I'm at the same shit as you are right now. I'm just doing the hustle, doing the grind. And like to people that are watching, it's like they can relate to that.
I think that's very important because there's a lot of people that, I mean, of course you'll see the people at the very top. you know, but if they don't see that, like the actual struggle and what it takes, then it kind of messes with their head.
Yeah.
If you see somebody like for example, you're talking head. So if somebody's trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do, and you're backing them up by throwing these videos out there, then they'll definitely resonate with you.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to do the exact same thing, not necessarily do the exact same thing, but in a sense, follow their dreams too.
Yeah.
And by you giving them that information, it's uplifting them, and that's for me. I watch videos like that all the time because I know I
watch other people too.
Yeah, and the struggle is real.
Yeah.
And so by me watching that and allowing me to listen helps me. It just lessens the burden on my back in a sense.
Yeah. because
I
like you
know-
can relate
Yeah.
to the people that are like if he's dealing with that, like I'm dealing with that too, like
Yeah.
I'm not alone, basically, that feeling of not being alone.
And it's hard to find
Yeah.
stuff like that because it's like not a lot of people show that side.
Yeah.
Because basically it's like a lot of people when they already make it up, they
Yeah.
only show the glam.
Yeah,
But they
'cause
don't
that-
show the struggle that they.
Yeah, because I thought about it too. I'm just like, do I need to share this right now, or should I share it when I've already made it? But then I was just like, nah, because it's like, no one's gonna. I mean, yes, maybe like because I listen to like different kinds of levels,
Yeah.
right? So I listen to the people that have already made it. I've listened to people that are kind of made it, but they're still kind of, you know what I mean? And then I've listened to the people that are just like, I just quit my job today, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like all different levels,
Uh-huh.
and I can relate to them in a way.
Yeah.
It's like every single one of them, like I'm just like, oh, like I can kind of relate to that. So like for me to just having that awareness of like, do I need to wait? Should I wait till I make it to like 100,000 subscribers before I start talking about my story? Like, nah. Like I would just rather talk about it now. So like when people, maybe they won't never find it until like later on when I've already made it. You know what I mean? And like those are the types of like stories that I like, when celebrities that I look up to, and then they talk about like, oh man, like I used to go to this job that I hated, and then you know, like all this, like the cliche stories that you hear of that people struggle and then they eventually got discovered, and then that's what opened the door for them.
Also, just wanted to add, it's like by you putting that out there as well, these people that are trying themselves are going through so much negativity
Yeah.
already, like with their physical life versus because I know for a fact that I have a battle in my head all the time with my own mental struggles of trying to figure myself out and all this stuff, and so I'm already in here fighting myself, and then I'm also fighting other people that don't believe in me. But when I see somebody else share their stories, then I see them showing how they're doing it, and it brings me up and it helps me a lot. And that's why I watch a lot of YouTube videos, because it's and Instagram and stuff. Because it helps mentally. Life is a battle, and by allowing me to do that and like relate to these people, like it lessens the pain inside and helps
Yeah.
me overcome my inner demons.
Oof.
Yeah, and that's why. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, that's why I started doing this podcast, and that's why I wanted to focus on that, because there's already so many there's so many different podcasts out there, and everything's great. Like there's finance, there's funny podcasts, there's other podcasts that are just nonsense, and like depending on how I feel, I'm just like watching different kind of podcasts. But for me, like I wanted to focus on really like self-development, and also like I want this podcast to be fun too. So if people have like something funny to share, like I just want it to be like that, but then also has like the fundamentals of like self-development. And
Yes.
yeah, I guess the base is like self-development, spirituality, life stories, and then the icing on top is like whatever nonsense comes up.
Yep.
Hey, whatever happens.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like free flow conversations too. Like if you just come up something in your head and be like, oh, this is funny, I'm gonna say this right now. Yeah.
Well, this is a very beautiful conversation. I'm like, my brain is like listening, and I'm also like having realizations as you're both talking. So I'm like really enjoying this too as we're all talking together.
Yeah.
There's so sometimes I have to like take a backseat and just like listen.
Of course.
And I so appreciate it, because I personally have been struggling with the idea of how I'm going to share my story, because I mean, everyone goes through things, but there are certain things I think I've experienced where I'm like, how do I say this? Because it's not necessarily digestible to say it as it is.
Yeah.
But I know there are people that really appreciate that authenticity and like hearing that story, because maybe they're going through it too.
Give us an example.
Yeah.
Well,
Some exclusive content for the podcast.
so I was thinking about Lifeline, because like it's Lifeline is a virtual music festival that I run in September on Twitch, and I showcase like underground artists, and it's like anyone's a part of it, so like mid-tier, like just starting out kind of thing. And then hopefully I can get it to a point where like more well-known acts are a part of it, but still keeping it in touch with the underground, because it matters that I give people in the underground a platform to showcase their creativity. But we raise money for suicide prevention, and I definitely have had my own journey with that. And especially when I started making music, I really, really struggled with my own, like with that specifically in my life. And there were moments where I'm like, well, if I weren't here, who would release my music?
Yes.
And there were moments where I had that thought. I'm like, that's kind of a good thought to anchor on, because it's like there's obviously something inside of me creatively that wants to come out and needs to be heard. And I'm really glad that I listened to it, because one, I'm here, two, I alchemized that into something better, but also I'm actually following my dream. So I like super appreciate that you brought that up and that we're talking about this now. But I think the next step for me is to like dive into how to share my story in a way where people can resonate with it, and then I'm not feeding into like old narratives about it, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's an interesting line, specifically as you're like growing as an artist, is how much is too much, or like how much is just enough to be able to share my story without it being too overbearing or negatively affect what's the word, like the way that you show yourself in the public eye.
Yes.
I know like there's like, I think it's in this unspoken reality for a lot of people growing in this industry to like keep their social medias pretty like clean, I guess. And that's relating to I think it's relating to their story, like what you share.
Yeah.
But life is messy, so it's hard to learn how to balance sharing the messy things while also making it like nicely packaged.
Yeah, I mean, I do get that because I post on social media a lot, but it's more me just promoting the stuff that I'm doing, right? I mean, sometimes I do post like inspirational quotes that is like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like posting, sharing. But most of it is just like, oh, I'm just posting my podcast or like my videos or me singing or whatever. I never really post a lot of like personal stuff in there in a way that's like, I don't talk about like what's going on in my life like at that very moment, because some people do that. They're like, they have a bad day and we're like, oh, no, everything is shitty right now, and like
I learned that the hard way. Don't put your negative
it's like
vibes out there.
Yeah.
like I want to say it's fine, but then it's just also like, you know, like it's not fine. But
now I'll say like, if I have a bad day, I'm like, please post your favorite meme. Send me a meme.
Yeah, like I just like, because when having a bad day, I pretty much just kind of turn everything inwards, and like I don't want to be around people. I don't want to interact with people. So like that's why I don't really. It's not that I never have a bad day, but I never post it on social media. So like for me, when it comes to like sharing, because you said like, oh, you don't know what's appropriate to share in public, right? For me, like when it comes to the podcast and the YouTube videos, the talking heads, that is my outlet of sharing
your story,
my story. Like not necessarily like every single detail.
ABCD, this is what happened this time.
But it's more of just like the general story that I have. Like I'm not gonna give details of like my finances or anything. Like maybe someday, like who knows? Like you know what I mean? But it's
he rich, yo.
there will be signs.
The beautiful thing is that you really are rich. You're rich in you're rich in company,
Yeah.
in creativity.
Yeah.
and all the really soulfully beautiful good stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Like I always want to remind myself that I'm very lucky
Spiritually
where I'm at
rich.
right now,
Yes.
even though just like my bank account doesn't really agree to it. But that's a
super
different
resonate.
conversation for a
trying to get
different
that
podcast. But like
green
for
ring.
me, it's just like I don't know, like I want to be as open as I can too, but then there's also like a level of you don't want to share too much. So like I don't know what the proper thing is. I guess it just depends on the individual.
I always watch your posts and I look at them and I like what you post because it's not just about the. Sometimes it is like I see a lot of podcast stuff,
Yeah.
but also you have a lot of good intentional things to share with people. And I think for me, I mean, I don't post very much, but I just pretty much just repost stuff like that you do. But if you take a look at my Facebook and what I post, I stopped sharing a lot of information and details about myself because I want to keep that hidden. Because nothing about my details is going to help anybody. If I know if it's going to help
But you
them,
don't know that.
that's true, but that's why I only post details like just to make somebody's day happy, or quotes that's going to uplift somebody, or something funny that'll just uplift somebody.
Yeah.
If my detail is not helping others, then I won't post it. And if I'm not too sure that it's gonna help, then I'll kind of leave it back. But
Yeah.
if I know if it's going to do somebody good, because I know I let me see here. What's that word? I resonate with quotes that helps uplift.
Yeah.
I resonate with pictures that I see that will help me like overcome things. I resonate with just animals and good things that I see. But if I see negative things, then it'll kind of bring me down, kind of
Yeah.
me dark. But that's probably. I probably shouldn't watch no crime shows anymore.
Yeah, I know. You told me that. Like, you just put that shit on the background. Like, that's why you're depressed, bro.
But you're right though. It
Because
does-
it's just like eating junk food.
Yeah.
You know, like the more you eat junk food, like yes, you can consume junk food a little bit, and then you're fine. But if that's
just-
all you eat and that's all you consume, it's like not good.
it starts becoming the toxin in
Yeah.
your
But
life.
yeah, but going back to like you, I get it that you don't want to share a lot of personal stuff, which is, I agree with you. But then also, when you're ready to share that side of you, just know that somebody out there, like, I don't know, like it could just be like a little post or like a, you know, like a text or whatever. Or if you decide to do a video, like somebody out there is gonna watch that and they might see like, oh, like I can relate to that person. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about like if you guys are going through the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's more of
Resonating.
and also like you don't like it helps other people feel that they're not alone. They're not going through the same bullshit, you know what I mean, by themselves. So it's like you sharing like whatever your life story is, that could resonate with somebody out there.
That's true.
So like when you're ready to share that side of you, it's such a freeing feeling too.
Yes.
That's why that's why with this podcast, I'm just like, I'm not editing shit out. Like,
That's great.
yeah. And then like, I just found out that my mom listens to this podcast too. So I'm just like, oh shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is so sweet.
Forgive his mouth. Eat that.
Yeah. It's
That is
just like,
so sweet.
yeah, because I never even talked about, I never even told her about like mushrooms and all that shit. So like, she's just
JERiCK, I knew
listening to this right now, hearing all this shit in my mouth.
so
That is
beautiful.
like,
This is the
She's
raw,
probably-
Yeah.
raw Jared.
She's definitely gonna have a conversation with you, but she'll
Maybe.
be like, I'm so
but then
proud.
she's like, she's seen some episodes. She was like, "Oh, you're really good at your job." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Your
I
jab.
think that's so sweet.
Yeah.
It's good to have support like that.
But yeah, like for me, it's just like that's why I always want this to be just like obviously I'm not gonna force you to share whatever you're not ready to share, right? But I've always kind of encouraged people to just open up
Be authentic.
in the podcast, or just like, in your general life, because you never know. People are always watching, though.
That is true.
Well,
Very
thank you.
true.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that, because I have been open in the past, but it's come out a little more, because it was like right when I was going through it. I think it was a little more hard.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I can slowly share my story in a way that also shows that that's like a part of my story, but it's not who I am, and it's not everything that I am.
Yeah.
So I appreciate just having the platform and the space to share that.
Of course.
I think everybody has a story, and
Mhm.
I think your story is pretty beautiful too. It's like I think because nobody ever sees the story of other people except through like movies and stuff, of course, but nobody knows the struggle or the pain that we all go through to get to where we're at. And even though I'm not at the level where I want to be, I know there's people out there, and there's probably a lot of them that have the same feeling that I do in terms of like where my life stands and how to get there. And here I am just trying to do my thing and trying to get to unleash my creative side too. That's why I've been messing around with the Logic Pro, but hopefully soon I'll have something.
Please, I would love to like connect with you like on social media and stuff, especially when I'm out there. So whenever you do have anything, even if it's just a loop, I would like to listen
Oh,
to
for
it.
sure. I would love to. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd actually like that collaboration.
And yes, I mean, you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm down. And also, I think you're in a very beautiful place. Like, just like I'm excited for you, because that you literally took the first step, or more than the first step, but you're literally in it now,
Yeah.
and you get to see where that takes you. And that's such a beautiful place to be.
Well, JERiCK opened me up a long time ago. I just
Oh.
it just didn't like let's just say I went through a lot of obstacles to really figure out where I really wanted to be, in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I feel like it's never too late for everybody. It's, I guess, when the time is right, like, people will
I agree.
do it.
Timing is everything.
Divine timing.
Yeah.
Yes,
And that's why
I like that.
I always like to encourage people to just like pursue their dreams.
Mhm.
It's scary because it's so unknown,
Yes.
and a lot of people are gonna have their opinions of that too, and most of it is probably not gonna be good.
Mhm.
And you just have to have like a very thick skin when it comes to that.
Yes.
I learned something the other day. Well, no, I didn't learn it, just learn it, but something clicked in my head that the only people that hate on you are the people that can't get to where you want to be, or
Yep.
where you're going,
Mhm.
because they can't even take that first step to even come out of their own shell.
Yeah.
Yet they're hating on somebody else's stuff because they can't even do it for themselves.
You know what it is? It's because the people that are doing the thing
Mhm.
are so busy of doing the thing
Mhm.
that they have no time to like look around and what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
So the only people that have opinions, negative opinions of you and what you're doing, are the people that are not doing the thing.
Mhm.
If
Yep.
that makes sense.
Yes.
It's because they're so consumed by like just watching other people following their dreams that they kind of like hate themselves for it.
Mhm.
It's because they're not doing it themselves, so they're trying to put everybody else down. But everybody else that are like pursuing their dreams, like, they don't give a fuck.
No.
Like, you can do whatever you want, because like I'm doing my thing. Like, I'm just so busy and like focused on what I'm doing. Like, I have no time to think about other people in that way.
I honestly feel really sad for people that are like in that space. Because there's so much beauty in like freeing yourself from your own negative recording that constantly goes in your head, and like everyone has it, because like society, I don't know what it is, but I think it's just like the like balance of all energies is to have obviously an opposing force towards like creation. So there are some people that feed into that opposing force and they let it consume them, versus being a part of the creating force.
Yeah.
A random thought, I did like a little TikTok post about it, but there's a book called The War of Art. Not The Art of War, it's The War of Art.
Okay.
And
Never heard of it.
I know I picked it up when I was going to Icon, and one of my professors, he wrote my he wrote a letter for me, a recommendation letter for school, and I got into that school, so I'm excited. But he suggested this book to me, and I started reading it. I still have to finish it. But like a big theme that's talked about in that book is the opposing force. While you're in the process of creating something and getting closer to completing that creation, you're going to experience more of that like doubt and rejection, or just that like the like going against the grain force as you're getting closer to that, because it's like the more energy you emit in creating, the more opposite energy you're going to receive. And so that'll show up in crazy things like a car accident, or something going wrong with your finances, or believing you have to get some chores done when really you could just sit down real quick and create because you're guided to create. Or like a family member telling you you can't do this, or like a friend like receiving those negative comments. It shows up, and it's almost like a spirit, and it shows up in different ways to try to veer you off track of what you're about to accomplish and get to. So it's definitely a really good book to consider reading.
I really like that. I mean,
So what you're saying is, since I'm struggling right now, I'm about to fucking take off. That's what you're saying.
I mean, honestly, maybe, yeah.
I know, but honestly though, I do feel like that.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just like right around the corner of. I don't know, like it's
feel the
hard to
same
describe it. Like I just feel like the success that I want is just like right around the corner. Like I just don't know when it's gonna hit. Yeah.
it'll hit, bro.
It will hit. Especially, and I think it's a good sign when things are falling apart around you, because it is a sign that your manifestations are coming towards you, because like you have to let go and shed the skin of what you are no longer to be able to become what you are, like
That's
the
true.
butterfly and metamorphosis transformation.
That's interesting that you bring that up, because I think that's what I've been trying to do, especially with my room lately. I've just got rid of everything and redesigned everything so that way it brings out a new me,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be living the same person who I was yesterday, in a sense. I want to keep evolving and keep growing, and by doing this it allows me to have more thinking space and allows me to be more creative. I'm hoping it'll allow me to be more creative, so that's what I'm doing.
Just you like creating space for it. It's definitely coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just like we talked about clutter, and I think it helps release by releasing all this clutter. It's gonna help me evolve more.
I mean, you just gotta make room for the new.
Yes, exactly.
Like if you keep hanging on to the old shit that you have,
New isn't coming.
yeah, then it's hard
It's gonna
for
make it
you know,
hard for it to
like
come.
if you don't have space for things, like physically or just like mentally, like it's just hard to just bring in new things, new ideas. So
Yes, that definitely is a part of the creative process. Kind of bring it back to
Yeah.
the theme there. I also decluttered because I'm moving, so I got rid of everything, and only have the clothes and shoes and all the things that I'm taking with me in just like one little area in the closet. And I made myself sick, but I think my body is also purging a lot of energy, because what's about to come towards me requires way more of my time, space, and
energy.
I feel like your body kind of intuitively knows to like reset.
Yes.
That's why you got sick, is because you needed to just like shut down and like
Rest.
reboot in a way. And that's how I kind of look at it. Like when I get sick sometimes too, is because like I pushed myself so hard that it was just like my body was just like, nah, sit your ass down and like just relax. Because like I can get like that sometimes too, where I'm just like overworking, working so hard, trying to make things happen, but then the more you let go, it goes back to like letting go. It's like you just gotta let it flow sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why, like, for me, when it comes to like YouTube and podcasts too, like, I'm just kind of, yes, I'm still gonna put in the work, but then I'm trying not to have too much expectations on, especially when it comes to making it or blowing up or whatever. Yeah, because like I just never know.
You just never know. I had this realization that I think I'm walking through like the haze because I'm not meant to see what's next because I think if I were to see what's next, I probably would ruin it.
Yeah.
Because I'd probably be like really scared like that's coming. And in a way like because I still am learning to overcome self-doubt in different ways, maybe it is more for my protection to be able to just keep making those steps and then make sure I'm noticing what's around me at the time. And enjoying that journey. But I feel like it might be protection that I'm not able to see the success that's coming because I think I have a deep-rooted fear of success.
I've actually been thinking about that a lot lately too. Like, am I scared of being successful? Oh, and what that comes with too is because like part of me is, it's not, I don't know if scared is the right word, but it's just like, if I get to that point where, let's say just like a financial success, right? Making that much amount of money, like how hard like do I need to work to get to that point?
That's a great
And that's
point.
what like kind of scares me, is because like I love having like a relaxed lifestyle. Like not that like I just want to do a bare minimum and like make a shit ton of money, but it's just like, if let's say if I'm making millions, like how hard do I need to work to get to that point, or like to maintain that?
Yes.
It's like, am I not gonna have a life to do other things? Like, I think that's part of me that's like kind of like, I guess, scared, because I can't really think of any other word to describe that.
That's a great point because for example, maybe you can't see, if I were to take that as my approach, like how much work is it going to take to get there, I might ultimately stop myself from working to get there.
Yeah.
And if I knew exactly what that is, like let's say I'm performing Tomorrowland next week. And I'm like, what? I'm performing Tomorrowland next week and the universe is telling me that? I'm like, no way. So then I'll like find different ways to tell myself, nope, I'm incapable of doing it. I don't have the money to
And it's like, oh, that's impossible. You know what I mean? Like,
it is actually impossible because it just happened. So it's not possible right now. But if I knew that was happening, I'm sure that I'd find ways not to make it there because I'd feed into my doubt. Versus if I actually just like keep following what I'm passionate about and what I'm enjoying, I'm naturally just gonna walk up to that stage at some point.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, like, that's so true though. When you just follow the joy and the fun, that's how you get there.
Yes.
It's because like, for me, I've been watching a lot of like YouTubers and streamers recently, and one thing they have in common is, like, especially when they were talking about their like how they got started, right? They were just doing it for fun. Like, it was just all for fun. And then eventually, like, because when I looked at it, like all the streamers that I watch, I'm like, oh man, they have shit ton of money, they have all this, they have all that, and all they do is like play video games. But then now, when you really think about it, it was like, when they started streaming or whenever they started, they were just doing it for fun. Like, there was no, I need to do this so I can make millions. It was just like, I'm playing this video game because it's fun. And if you look at your passion, your art that way, instead of, oh, this is going to make me millions. And I'm working on that myself too, because I don't want to put too much pressure on myself and expecting that like by next year I need to be like making this amount of money. you know, for like doing podcasts or YouTube. Like I don't want to have that pressure on myself because like it's not gonna be fun. You know what I mean?
Becomes work.
It becomes work because like
Work
once you start doing it and then you're thinking about like, is this gonna make me money? Then it becomes your job. Then
I do really good under pressure. As much as I do not like
I really
pressure,
do too.
I do good under it. But I hear what you're saying as well. I think Delulu kind of thing that I keep thinking is like, I'm gonna go and be in debt right now for my master's program, but it's okay. My music career is gonna pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like,
and that's how I've actually been looking at my life like that. It's just like, my future self is gonna pay for it. Yeah, because like, for example, the studio, it cost me money to actually do the podcast and do the YouTube. So like, some people might think about it like, oh, that's a stupid investment because you're not making money. But then the way I think about it is like, oh, eventually this is gonna make me a shit ton of money.
It's only but a footstep on our journey.
So like, that's the way I think about it. So like, for me, like, I love doing this. Like, I'm having fun right now. I'd rather do this than anything else. So but I just need to kind of, I guess, not lower my expectations, but like having no expectations on when everything is gonna take off, because I never know.
no.
And I don't want to. It's kind of like, I was thinking about this a lot too. Like, a very good metaphor is when you order on Amazon. Like, you don't sit outside your house and wait for like the delivery guy to come, right?
I mean, bro,
You just like, you already know, like, oh, that's gonna be here in 2 days or whatever. Like, you're not thinking about it. You're just, I already put the order in and it's coming. Like, I already trust that it's coming.
unless it's
And
from
that's
China.
how, yeah. And that's how you should look at it. Because like, I don't want to be like sitting every day and be like, oh, did I blow up yet? Did I, you know what I mean? Like, looking at stats all day, and like, you just have to just kind of like, you already did the work, you already did the thing, and you just wait.
Trust the process.
Yeah, patience is hard. Honestly, I'm still working on it.
Although there have been times where I'm like, okay, my package is supposed to come today, so I'll like go and keep checking the front door and like, is it there yet? And then
I mean, I do sometimes too, if it's like really something that I want. But if it's just something like, oh, I'm just buying another like deodorant, like I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
It's just like, I don't care. But there are some things that are just like, oh, if I bought a new mic, I kind of like, oh, like did it come yet?
Dude, I'm
But
like
then
that
it's
right
just
now.
like,
Shoot. I'm waiting for a package.
but then
from
at the same
Amazon.
time, like at the same day, like you know it's gonna come.
Yes.
Like,
And so
Yeah.
that's so funny you mentioned that. So there are certain manifestations I know I've worked really hard towards them, and I know I'm still working hard towards them. And I'm like, when are they coming? And I'm also impatient. I'm like, when I think about myself as like a little girl that's like, when is it coming?
yeah. Like,
when
are
am
we
I
there
gonna
yet?
yeah. And the universe is like, hold on, it's coming in divine timing. And meanwhile, I'm like learning all these lessons leading up to it, and like also messing up, and also not taking the right steps, but learning from those things. But I keep sensing it's coming. So I'm like that, like, okay, is it here yet? Like with the Amazon package, like if I were to, I ordered new headphones because I lost my headphones. So I'm like, when are they coming in? And then I also ordered new, I should have just gone to Walmart, but I ordered new like thumb drives for my music.
Yeah.
So now it's like, hopefully it's at home today because I need them today. But like, I'm like, is it here yet? But I know they're coming. And for example, a few of those things for sure is like financial stability, making sure I get to this school, because there's still a lot of steps I need to take to get there physically. And then also like I'm a lover girl, so I'm like, when am I gonna experience like true love kind of thing? So I know the universe is like, it's coming, and I'm like, okay, it's coming. But it really is.
I mean, it really is. It's just, you just gotta let go of that expectations, and you just gotta be patient, because you know, if you really know that it's coming, Because like for me, like I really do know that it's coming. I just don't know when. So like if I just like stop thinking about the when, it's just gonna make me feel so much better. I'm just like more relaxed and just kind of just do the fun stuff. Like follow the joy, follow the fun.
Yes.
Because eventually, like I said earlier, like all the stuff that all the people that you looked up to, it all started because they love what they were doing. It wasn't for the money, because sometimes like the financial thing is such a crazy thing in our society that is such a, I guess, in a higher tier.
Yes.
It's what
That we
drives-
value, like we think is the most valuable thing in life, which is it's not.
It's helpful. It's
yeah, it is. It's a tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a catalyst.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because like when you have all the money in the world, like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And but if you really think about it, it's like you can do whatever you want now.
Yes.
You might not have, I mean, like you might not have money for like vacation if you really want to go on vacation, but it's like you really have a lot of more freedom than you think. At least that's how I like to live my life. Some people might think that it's very irresponsible, but like I don't give a fuck. So
Dude, as long as you're happy with what you
yeah.
do, it doesn't matter what nobody thinks. I think that's my opinion. It's like you could be living on the streets, and if that makes you happy, shit, why not? You know? But
Yeah.
if it doesn't change something, you gotta change.
Yep.
And the beautiful thing when you mentioned about freeing yourself, if you free yourself from needing all these things, they come to you.
Yeah.
My faith recently has been like becoming stronger, like day by day. Like I'm incredibly spiritual. So I'll see synchronicities and just things that hit me where I'm like, no, like this is where I'm meant to be going.
Yeah.
And I think this waiting period for me has been crucial because I'm like finally understanding what it means to have faith. And that feels like one of the biggest gifts that this limbo period has given me, because I know whenever because I'm going to keep going through these periods. It's like like evolution never stops. So when I get to this next part next time, I'm going to be so excited because I'm going to be like, what are you about to teach me? And I'm starting to get there too right now. But I've learned how to free myself from wanting, like, for needing financial stability, for needing a partner or wanting a partner, or for needing my career to take off and to, like, get to this goal and start to see the fruits of my labor. And I think little by little that's freeing me to be able to appreciate the lessons that I'm experiencing, like, spiritually and internally. And I know they're coming. And I think they're coming in faster because I've freed myself from the need to have those to make me complete.
Exactly. And I mean, the ultimate lesson is just let go. That's all. It's all it really is. Like that's simple as that. Just like let go.
Frozen's been trying to tell me
Let go of that
all the
fucking
time.
wheel, man.
Still a learning process for me too, but
Yeah, talking to the mic.
oh, my bad. Hello. Yeah, I mean I think for me that's still it's a learning process. I'm for sure understand what I need to do, but it's the actions that I need to do to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, you still gotta do the action.
Yeah.
Like you can't just have the opportunities like handed to you without doing the action. So, you know what I mean?
I will say I have had incredible opportunities because someone like took a chance on me.
Yeah.
And because of that, I grew. Because obviously you still have to do the work and level yourself up to that level. But there have been moments where I was like, I'm totally not qualified for this.
Yeah.
and then I see myself like reach another like level, like PR potential. I'm like, whoa, I surprised myself. But it's because someone took a chance on giving me an opportunity, collaborating with them, or showing me something.
Yeah, because I mean, same for me too. I've had a lot of opportunities that I didn't think that I was fully qualified for, but I still took it.
Yes.
For example, I played my first festival last year, Base Camp.
You did tell me that.
Yeah. I've never been to a festival before. and then I've also only been DJing for like a year before that, and I didn't even know how to use CDJs.
No way.
When they emailed me, they were like, "Oh, hey, you want to play?" and blah blah blah. And so I responded like, "Fuck yeah, I'll do it," you know. And then I asked them like, "What equipment are we using?" He was like, "Oh, we have a CDJ." I'm like, "Oh fuck, I don't have a CDJ," and I've never used it. But the funny thing is, because I do Uber, right? And then I had an Uber ride. It was such a crazy thing. This was just like after responding to the email, I was just like, they responded like, "Hey, you're gonna play at the festival at this, you know, whatever the date was," and then like maybe like a week later, I was driving Uber and I had a passenger. I was playing my mix in the car, and then he was like, "Oh, this is cool," like and then I was telling him like, "Oh yeah, like I'm about to play a festival next month or whatever." I don't remember what month it was, but like. And then I was like, "Oh, but like I've never played on a," because like I guess he was like really into music too. So we were just having a conversation, and then I was like, "Yeah, but like I've never played on a CDJs before," and then he was like, "I have a CDJ at home."
What luck, bro.
Yeah, it's like that's crazy. It's crazy how the universe just like when you say yes to things, the universe will just like,
Prepare.
"Here you go," you know, like here's the step. And then like he just offered me like this total stranger. He was like, "Hey, I have a CDJ at home. Like you can totally come. Like if you want to just like practice." And then I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I got his number, and then like a week later, I was like, "Hey, can I come over and just like learn how to use the CDJ?" And he was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And then that was it. Like I used my first CDJ like that day, and then. Maybe like a few weeks later, I played the festival.
That is so dope.
Yeah. And then I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, you know, like, I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it's at least for me, but it's just like there's a learning curve to like learn like how to use the decks properly. But you know,
Yes.
but it was just kind of because like I said yes without really knowing. Because I would have been just like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna figure it out on stage if I, you know what I mean, like. But since because like when I said yes to it, because I used to use Tractor, I wasn't even using Record Box.
Oh.
Yeah, like when I started learning how to DJ, I used a Tractor, so I had a different deck, and then when I said yes to it, I was like, fuck, like I'm gonna have to buy a Record Box. So I bought another controller. It's like the small one. I was just like, fuck it, I'm just so I can set up my cues. And that was it. Like I just needed to set up the cues, like so I can like use the CDJs.
Yes.
And that's what that's how I kind of started. And like now I'm like pretty used to like playing CDJs everywhere.
I prefer CDJs.
Yeah.
Actually. I remember before I played CDJs, I think Wake in Wonderland was the first event that I played CDJs.
Oh, okay.
Ever.
Oh, yeah, because I remember we practiced at Liana's house, yeah.
And I was like, but that was great because then like a month later, that's when I got to play like opening for Bass Face. And I was like, oh, like that opportunity helped this opportunity.
Yeah.
So, but now I just kind of honestly prefer CDJs.
Yeah, me too. Just because like all I need to bring is my USB and that's it. Like I just show up because I used to bring my laptop, my controller just so I can play places, and it was just like a hassle to like set it all up. But now I just bring my USB. But yeah, this has been a fun conversation.
Dude, it has.
Yeah, it's very insightful. Thanks, Ashley, for coming.
Thank you.
Arlo,
I'm so grateful.
Spotify. Do you want to do a plug?
Oh
Plug,
yeah.
plug.
I do a plug. You can find me on social media. My handle is Arlo Music, and that's all across like every platform, even SoundCloud. And I am gonna be releasing music very soon, so keep an eye on that. And you can find my music on Spotify, Apple Music, all streaming platforms, even YouTube. And then Lifeline Virtual Music Festival is going to happen in September 13th through the 15th. And I'm really excited this year. We have about 25 individual artists, and everyone's working really, really hard for this. So I'm really grateful. So also follow Lifeline Virtual Music Fest on Instagram and Lifeline Virtual on Twitter. Support that way.
Cool.
Thank
Well, Chris
you.
Smart, you want to plug anything?
No, I just wanted to say, man, I'm really excited for you. Honestly, it's like you're on this journey that you told us, and it's just incredible that just hearing what you're gonna do, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna kill the shit out of this. Honestly,
Thank
you're gonna
you.
evolve, and that fog is gonna
Dissipate.
dissipate, and then you'll finally see who you were meant to be.
Thank you. And I'm really excited for you as well.
Oh, thank you.
You're on a beautiful journey, and I'm excited that you took the step forward.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. It's just a learning process.
Yep.
That's gonna be hella hard.
Yeah.
I love learning, like nerding out over like learning new things for production.
I do too, but there's some stuff in there that I'm like looking at. I'm like, damn. But anyways,
I mean, it's always frustrating when
Yeah.
you're starting something new because
But-
it's just like you're not good at it.
exactly.
But
I'll get
it is
there,
what
I'll
it
get
is.
You gotta be not good at something to be good at something.
That is
Exactly.
true.
You gotta put your 10,000 hours in, bro.
I'm not good at doing my nails, but I still do them.
Steph Curry started from the bottom.
Yes. And Michael Jordan.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's true. So
Mhm.
whoever's looking,
I think Tina Fey was like, Tina Fey became famous in her 30s or 40s or
yes,
something.
yes. Oprah in her 40s.
Yeah.
Probably.
KFC guy, 65 years old.
Yeah.
No way.
I mean, everybody started at zero, so
Mhm.
it's
Just
now it's your turn to get started.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess that's it for this week's podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
For reals,
Don't
thank
forget to subscribe, comment down below if you've actually made it all the way down to pretty much almost 2 hours. Yeah, whatever
Wait,
you learned
seriously?
today. Yeah. Um,
Whoa.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
share your story. Like I would love to read people's comments, especially on the podcast because it's very insightful. And yeah, that's it.
Mm.
I guess.
Also, if you guys heard my stomach rumbling, I apologize. I'm hungry. I'm hungry as hell.
That's funny.
But yeah, see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.